Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to each and every one of you. It's Afternoon Delight Radio Show on WRVS 89.9. Clay Mercer here, and you know what? It's the fourth Wednesday of the month, and even though it's Christmas, it's still time for Conversations with the Chancellor, and I'm joined by the Chancellor of Elizabeth City State University, Dr. Carrie Dixon. Chancellor Dixon, welcome to your show, and Happy Holidays to you.
Thank you so much, Clay, and Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all of your listeners.
Yes, and you know what? We were just talking about this before we got on the microphone. I called you Dr. Dixon. I called you Chancellor Dixon. You've been doctor for much longer than you have been chancellor. Is it okay? Both of them work pretty well for you?
Yes, exactly. I still, myself, I wait to listen for the doctor more so than the chancellor. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. This is Christmas Day, and we're just excited. And I know you are as well, and having family and friends around. You know, I just wish everyone out there a Merry Christmas, and we're approaching the new year, so we're ready to transition to 2020. So this is an exciting time.
Yes, indeed. Let's get right into it. And back on December 14th, a real special occasion here on the campus of ECSU as we held the 169th Commencement Ceremony with a total of, I think, 86 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, were given. And there were many special moments during the event, especially from the keynote speaker, Congressman Mark Walker, who received a rousing ovation after his speech. What are some of the takeaways you had from the commencement ceremony?
Well, actually, I thought it was a wonderful celebration of our graduates. And for those who were in attendance, we actually changed the venue for the winter graduation this year. And so we actually had the winter commencement in the Fine Arts Center, the Mickey Burnham Fine Arts Center. And so that was a little different because we're used to having it in the Vaughn Center. But because of the size of the class, we wanted to create a more intimate space for our graduates and their families and friends. And so that went quite well. We didn't really know what to expect. Right. I think we all were a little nervous about it, but it went quite well. And I think our graduates did appreciate the fact that they had a more intimate space there to celebrate their achievements. But in regards to Congressman Walker, I met Congressman Walker about a year or so ago at the North Carolina Legislative Black Caucus luncheon. He was their keynote speaker. And from that start, he was there with Congresswoman Alma Adams, and the two of them had teamed up to co-lead the HBCU initiative at the federal level. And this was their way of saying, hey, we can cross the line, over the lines, the bipartisan type of approach to supporting something that's important. And HBCUs were important to both of them. And so Congressman Walker was very eager to come to ECSU. He said this was a campus that he was really looking forward to visiting. And so he was very happy that we extended the invitation for him to be our commencement speaker. And so I think his message really hit home for our graduates and those in attendance, because he really talked about how important it is to persevere, how important it is to stand up to adversities and really know that there's more to your challenges. You know, it's not the end of the world when you face those challenges. It's almost like, the little bopper toy we used to have where it would, if you hit it, it'll bounce back.
And still have it.
Exactly. You hit it and it bounced back.
Yeah.
And so, his message to me was just that. It was more about, okay, if you get knocked down, bounce back. If you get knocked to the right, bounce back. You get knocked to the left, right, bounce back. If someone tries to hold you down, bounce back. Yeah. And so, it was really good for our graduates to hear that, I think, because a lot of our graduates have very unique stories, and many of them have talked about, their dedication, commitment to their education and what it took to get to that moment. Mm-hmm. And so it was really good. And you're right, everyone gave him a standing ovation around his message, and it was very inspirational. And I think the graduates really had a lot to think about and take home with them.
I agree. And you talked about having it at the Mickey L. Burnham Fine Arts Center, and it was just a different type of atmosphere, great crowd. Yes. Will we continue to go back to the Fine Arts Center? I want to know what your thoughts were on that, because it was just great to see the large crowd inside the Fine Arts Center. It was really a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, and I think, the plan right now, this was the first year, as I mentioned, that we moved to the Fine Arts Center, and it was really because of the size of the class. And so it depends. As we go forward, depending on the size of the class for the winter commencement, then we may consider going to the fine arts. Now, the spring commencement in Vaughn will remain in Vaughn because we continue to grow in our spring graduates. And so we definitely need space for our graduates as well as their families because the numbers are larger for spring. But for winter, we'll play it year by year and kind of see what that number looks like. And if we need to revert back to Vaughn, we will for the winter. But if not, then we'll probably consider continuing to have the event in the Fine Arts Center, depending on the class size.
Yeah, you can see pictures and more from the 169th Commencement Ceremony online at newsroom.ecsu.edu. It's Afternoon Delight Radio Show, Conversations with the Chancellor. Clay Mercer here with Chancellor Dixon. And Chancellor, we received good news last month in reference to needed repairs here on campus. Of course, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper signed the 2019 Storm Recovery Bill into law, which allows ECSU a chance to fix some of the buildings here on campus. Tell the listeners a little bit more about the impact this bill will have on the university.
Well, Clay, this is an exciting time for ECSU, and I say that because I mean it. I mean, we haven't seen this type of support in a long time, if ever. And so to have the governor sign off on this bill to provide us funding to repair some of the buildings that we have here on campus that were impacted by the most recent Hurricane Dorian, it just really, really shouts loudly the support that we have from the General Assembly in this regard of helping us to make our buildings much stronger and better. And so we are looking at 10 buildings total, which would include 3 residence halls. And these buildings experienced a lot of water infiltration and issues that resulted in the damages that we saw after the hurricane. So to permanently fix these issues, it requires roof replacements, roof repairs, and building envelope type of repairs that need to be addressed. And generally, it costs a lot of money to put a new roof on any building.
Very true.
And so we could not do that with the resources we have now. So this allocation will definitely help us to address those issues. And what I really like about it is that it provides an opportunity to both address the academic buildings and the residence halls. Yes. Whereas our allocation from the state for repair and renovations only allows us to address the academic buildings. It does not allow us, the restrictions do not allow us to address anything regarding the residence halls. So this $5.2 million allocated to us will allow us to do both. And as I said, it was 10 buildings total, and 3 of those were residence halls. But I have to thank the UNC Board of Governors as well, because we did once again this year receive an allocation of $2 million for repair and renovations. And though the repair and renovations can only be used on the academic buildings on campus and other buildings and not the residence halls, at least now we have a pool of money there, a total of $7.2 million, that we can do some of the repairs that we need to address here on this campus. But we are truly grateful and thankful to the North Carolina General Assembly, our governor, and our legislators for providing us with this great allocation of $5.2 million to address the repairs after Hurricane Dorian.
After these repairs, for people who are on campus and they're looking to say, when will the repairs when will we start to see the process? When will we start to see that money being used for the repairs here on campus?
So what we want to do, and that's a great question, is we want to be good stewards of this money. And so we will be using experts to guide us in this work. And the reason that's so important is because we want to ensure that we are, good stewards of this investment that the state has made, but also we need to have someone come in and tell us about how our roofs are designed, and whether or not we need any redesigns. We have a lot of flat roofs on this campus, and that doesn't help us at all. And to have someone help us who's an expert in this area to really look at, okay, which buildings do we repair versus which buildings need a total roof design, re-roof design of the roof. And so, so we're looking to those experts to help guide this process, because what we want to do is really continue to protect the state assets that we have here on this campus. And we want to be good stewards of that by making sure that we have some guidance in how we're approaching the repairs.
Yes. Conversations with the Chancellor here on WRVS 89.9. Clay Mercer here with Chancellor Dixon. And Chancellor, earlier this month, the ECSU Board of Trustees approved a 5-year strategic plan focused really on enrollment growth. So for our listeners who may not know much about this, explain to our listeners what the plan entails and what it means for the university going forward.
So a strategic plan is very important to any and every university. One thing I have to say is that most presidents and chancellors coming into the job their first year do not typically want to tackle a strategic plan. Mm-hmm. So, but in my case, I had no other choice because the current strategic plan at the university expires in 2019 or expired in 2019. And so for accreditation purposes, we needed to go ahead and start the process for our new strategic plan. So this strategic plan will start in July of 2020 and it'll run through July of 2025. So it's a 5-year, and we're going to focus a lot of our efforts on enrollment because enrollment is critical to our success right now. As you've probably heard me mention before, ECSU is growing back into this campus. And so we want to spread the word. We want everyone to know that we're offering a quality education at an affordable price. But also we want everyone to own this strategic plan. And we had forums, we included community, we included alumni, we included stakeholders and others and trustees and others who came out, our faculty, our staff, our students, to contribute to the strategic plan, because we did want everyone to feel included, valued in this process, and then also just to own it and be a part of the success of ECSU. And so we're excited about it. It's a comprehensive plan, so it's a lot in there. We have 6 goals and various objectives within it. And but I did mention to the trustees that, our first priority in this plan, and even before the plan actually goes into effect, July 2020, is that we focus on enrollment. Growth is important right now for us, and we need to continue to grow and spread the word about the quality education you'll receive at ECSU.
Piggybacking off of that, Chancellor, how important has the NC Promise tuition plan been, and how long will it be active here at ECSU?
Well, NC Promise has definitely been a contributing factor to our growth, I do believe. And NC Promise, with the $500 tuition for in-state students and the $2,500 tuition per semester for out-of-state students, the more and more people learn and understand what that means from the standpoint of costs and reduction of debt, the more and more I think we will grow from that standpoint. But also operationally, we are doing more to be more strategic in our recruiting, where we go, making sure that we are going to our 21 service area counties around ECSU, but then also expanding out to the Raleigh area is important for our growth. And then Virginia as well, because Virginia students are taking notice and taking advantage. We grew 95% in our enrollment from students in Virginia, and total enrollment overall, our first year, we grew almost 20%. And that's unheard of across the UNC system. Campuses don't grow that fast and grow in that quantity. And so this year we grew 5.7% from where we were last year with the 20% increase. So we grew second fastest or second largest from the standpoint of growth in the UNC system. UNC Pembroke was number 1 with about 7%. And so, the 3 NC Promise campuses have definitely shown growth. And I believe a lot of that does contribute to NC Promise. So we are still very thankful to our North Carolina legislature for choosing us as one of those 3 campuses and for this program, because it does provide an opportunity for any citizen in North Carolina and beyond to come to this great institution and earn their degree.
Yeah. Conversations with the Chancellor here on WRVS 89.9. And we talked about it previously, commencement special moment. But 2019 has been filled with a lot of special moments for you and the university. Just in your mind right now, what are some of the moments that come to mind when you think of how this year has been for you and the university overall?
Well, this has been a wonderful semester. I mean, this year, I just can't ask for anything more. I mean, I've seen the changes here. I think the university has definitely turned the corner. We are rowing this ship, and we're rowing it in the right direction. And, I feel it on campus, the energy. We felt it installation. We felt it at homecoming. And I think our alumni see it, our students see it, and we see it in the numbers. I mean, we had a significant number of students return to campus for second semester last year. Right. And we haven't been seeing that in the past. So that shows me that what we're doing for student engagement, student activities, all those things are things that students want, and we're being able to provide that for them so that they want to stay. They want to stay. They want to graduate. And our alumni contributing significantly back to the university through donations of funding, as well as through just support of our programs and activities from our students, faculty, and staff. And so a lot of exciting things. I always say, I said it was a busy semester.
Yes.
I mean, we went from Hurricane Dorian to hosting the HBCU summit for the Coast Guard. Then from there to installation rescheduled. Then from there the next week to homecoming. Then we hosted the Board of Governors.
Yes.
And we just finished our Board of Trustee meeting a week before Christmas. And so we are just, it's been a busy semester, but I am very fortunate to have a great team around me who are committed and dedicated to seeing the success of this university.
Yeah. 2019 has been great, and I know I could sit here and say, well, what can we expect in 2020? But I know that's a little bit away, but we look at January, February, and March. Is there anything that we can expect to see here on campus as we start off the new year?
Well, one thing that I want to do is I want to host another clergy breakfast as we did last year. I thought that was very well attended and appreciated in the community from our local clergy. So I want to do that again sometime in January. So clergy, if you're listening, please look out for your invite. And then also I want to make sure that we continue to just be involved and be visible in the community. Not just me, but my entire cabinet, our staff, our team, our faculty, our students are doing such a great job just being visible in the community. And so that has been very helpful. And I look forward to working closely with our education partners in the area, with MACU's president, John Maurice, and with the new president at COA, Jack Bagwell, and then our new superintendent, Catherine Edmonds. The four of us are going to be meeting quarterly and talking about some things we can do together. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And Clay, I'm looking forward to the Border Classic.
Man, you better talk about
yes,
it. Oh my
the Border
goodness.
Classic.
That's going to be fun.
It was absolutely amazing last year.
Yeah.
And so looking forward to that big classic, and just having everyone come on campus and be a part and see our high schools as they compete against each other. And it's just a good time. So I'm just looking forward to having more visitors on campus. In 2019, we had a lot of visitors.
We did.
And that was a good thing because that means people are learning. We're getting our name out there. People are understanding the jewel that we have here in Northeastern North Carolina. So I look forward to that in 2020 as well.
Yeah, we're going to continue to build relationships, and onward and upward is all it's about. So again, this is the final conversations with the Chancellor of 2019. And around this time right now, I usually turn my microphone off, and Chancellor, let you give a few words to the listeners. I'm sure you want to wish them happy holidays and happy new year and all of that. So it's all yours.
Yes, definitely. Again, happy holidays, happy new year. I hope everyone had a wonderful and a very Merry Christmas. And I just want to ask that you continue to support ECSU, whether that is with your time or your talent or your treasures. Anything helps this great university. And as we continue to tell our story, people realize and they understand what a jewel we have here in Northeastern North Carolina. And I think that needs to be all of our story. I mean, we need to wear that on our chest and really speak it loudly so that people know that we're committed and dedicated to the success of this university. And I think we're showing that through action. We're showing that by doing more to put our institution out there in social media, as well as in various aspects of conversation and just letting folks know that ECSU is here to stay and that we are thriving. And I'm just looking forward to that. I see the excitement on campus from our faculty, staff, and students, and in the community. I see people in the community wearing their ECSU and Viking caps and jackets and sweatshirts and everything. And so we want to keep that going. So please encourage that and continue to advocate and support this great university and our And the fact that we are a constituent institution of the University of North Carolina, that's huge. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that and that we are committed, the entire community, our alumni, our faculty, our staff, our students, that we're all on the same page and working towards the goal of building the foundation for the sustainability of this great institution that we call Elizabeth City State University. So thank you all and have a wonderful, happy 2020.
Another informative edition of Conversations with the Chancellor. If you missed any of today's show or maybe some previous shows, you can go to the WRVS 89.9 YouTube channel and catch up anytime. Chancellor Dixon, happy holidays and happy new year to you, and looking forward to 2020 after a great 2019.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward. Thank you, Clay.
Yes, thank you, Feel Good followers, for listening, and make sure you stay tuned for more of your music here on Afternoon Delight Radio Show.